Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein by NECA. We're going to do an unboxing and a review. Let's get to it. Alright, so here we are, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monsters. Obviously, April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein. Now, with this one, honestly, just the cover alone is phenomenal. Every figure that they have has original artwork on the front and then photos across the box itself. So these are all photos of the figures, and then the series that we've seen so far, just appreciation for everybody on this team. Which I would say, at that point, illustration, that's the person right there that gets all the credit for this beautiful cover art. All right, let's get into it. So there we are with all the accessories in the package. Now let's get a poppin'. That head is in there very tightly. I mean, it's so tight, it left paint marks on the way out. She doesn't have the ties around her waist. They're actually around each arm and each leg. So now just as far as an overview of what is expected with this figure. So obviously a lot of details that we'll get into. Some accessories, a couple rats, spider, an alternate head, a couple hands, a microphone as a staff. All right, so obviously a likeness to Judith Hoag, and it is spectacular. I mean, they do look like the same faces from at least the farm pack where she's with Casey Jones. I think maybe it's just the way the paint is sitting and reflecting light. It does appear to look like her a little bit more. And with this version, it seems like she has the best knees that she's ever had. So she originally had a set of knees that people refer to as Pinocchio knees, where these were just, her kneecaps were way too skinny. And then the other set where her knees kind of came over, the top half came over, kind of looked like like pretty much any of the figures that have jeans or pants or whatever. So these definitely the best knees, which is such a funny thing to even have to talk about. All right, so let's look at the details of this figure. It's honestly, I mean, NECA does a great job anyway, but this whole series is really just a work of art. And finding all these like Easter eggs in this series, but then obviously with this yellow jacket, I mean, it's just fantastic. All right, and let's look at the accessories. So of course, we have the alternate head, which was really hard to get out of the package. So like the farmhouse pack, it is just a slight difference in faces. The smiling one honestly looks so accurate. So let's pop on that other head. All right, so there she is with the smiling head. Great details like we saw. So I think when it comes to rating this stuff, she's gonna be one of the top tier in every category. So here we have her bag, which actually has a chain link, which honestly is it's just a fantastic touch of detail here. All of these little pieces. Now the lock does not move, so it is a harder piece, and always want to be careful with, but it does look like it's technically a separate piece from the bag itself, but be careful with that. A little bone sticking out. Her alternate hand so she can hold things, obviously. So let's look at these rats one at a time. So this one with an eye on its side, and this one with an ear. The details are even in the bottom of the feet, and those are going to be touching the top of the table or whatever. A single spider. Now this piece is pretty interesting because it doesn't really have, there's nothing that it attaches to or anything. It's really good, honestly, considering the size. It's very small. Then we have her sigh here, which I don't know if the color is the same. I imagine it is, but the set that they have for Raphael, which looks similar to this. And then her microphone, which is full of details. I mean, the accessories in this pack are probably top tier. These are way better than what you even get with the normal Turtles. Sometimes these NECA stands seem to work. They did not do anything for RoboCop, but they work very well, at least with April here. All right. Articulation, full rotation as expected, both sides, in and out, so good hinge points there. Elbows. Simple, but excellent movement. They're not double jointed. The wrists will rotate and they work on a hinge, which is kind of expected with the regular human characters. The head, I mean, you can do whatever you need to. There's nothing blocking, even the hair and the back of the jacket. I mean, she's got full range. It's probably some of the best head movement out of any of her figures. Now the legs, as before, she did have skirts on, so that kind of limited the range, but this one moves. It's very soft, so you can get some nice range out of the legs. Kneecaps are double jointed, obviously. I mean, that's pretty clear from looking at them, but I mean, yeah, you can have a kneel pose. I mean, that's pretty great. As far as ankles go, simple hinge, no side-to-side movements, just forward and backwards or up and down. A full waist, you could turn her around if you needed to. And a little bit of access motion on the upper half there. But as far as movements and range, I mean, that's honestly fantastic, which is great because it is one of the best looking figures. Any articulation that you want for posing or whatever kind of seems endless. Let's get into some of these other pieces. You know, with her posing, yeah, I mean, you can actually get her rats in her hand if you wanted to pose it that way, which is pretty fantastic. And it looks great. I mean, that's a very simple setup. Works just fine. And the hand's got just enough space. You can get the staff in there at different heights if you need to. She's kind of unlimited with the poses. Now, while the bag is great, there's not a whole lot for it to hang off of, so it does tend to fall off the shoulder. The articulation, you can do anything you want with this figure, for the most part. The jacket doesn't get in the way too much. I guess you could probably even take it off. Well, no, can't take it off because the green bit that goes into her back is gonna stop you, but still, nice to know that the details go all the way around, all the way through. They didn't skimp on anything. There you go. You can even have her practicing a little bit of Shakespeare or something. I mean, look at this. How many figures can you do this with? Not a whole lot. All right, so for April as the Bride of Frankenstein, details 5 out of 5, articulation 5 out of 5, and of course, posing 5 out of 5. I mean, this is just, whether you like the style, the look or not, you have to admit they really did a great job at every piece of this. This is definitely one of the best. There we have it. April as the Bride of Frankenstein by NECA. And here are the scores and the overall rating. So what are your thoughts? Is this something you plan to pick up, or were you able to snatch one up a little early? Let me know down in the comments. We'll see you next time.